Hello, it's Elaine from Penguin Place Crafts. And it's Sunday night. We are back from our whirlwind trip down to Pennsylvania. And nothing was going right trying to set up this video. It's like, oh, come on. Okay, it's been a couple of days since I used my ring light and tripod. The ring light fell apart, kept tipping over. I couldn't find the microphone. Just one thing after another. But I'm here now, okay? So this is going to be a quick overview of the trip in itself, and tomorrow, once I've had a chance to do some more crunching of numbers, I would do a summary of the show. Spoiler alert, I told you I printed out 2 pages to keep track of all the sales. I only needed 1, so the extra page became my notes for this. So, average show. Okay, but before we even left, our oldest daughter came over. She signed up to send 10 college care packages from her church. She spent a lot of years in college, between undergrad and med school, so she has an appreciation for what it's like to be a college student. She wanted to bless a bunch of college students, and she said one of the things they said to put in is a stuffed animal, and they recommended a homemade stuffed animal. So I want to come over and buy 10. And she went through the $5 and under box, which, I mean, that's fine with me, and she picked out 10 items. Okay. And of course, granddaughter Lyra was here. And Lyra was like, Can I play? Can I play with this stuff while mommy's picking them out? Can I play? Yes, okay. So Lyra said to tell anybody who buys my little toys that they like to get coffee and tea and sit down to talk. Have a little party. She was having fun. She was just lining them up around the donut. I said coffee and tea. Coffee and donut. Yeah. She had donut and a little coffee cup, and she was just putting them all around for a little party. So, oh, and another thing. Sorry. I like talking about my grandchildren. As soon as she walked in the door, she was like, Grammy, I want to buy a cat from you. It has to be small, because I'm going to put it in my pocket so I can carry it around and cuddle it. So I have to buy a cat from you it's little. And fortunately, I just made one up like a week or so ago. It's next to a bunny in that picture. She loved it. She didn't buy it. Grammy gave it to her. Okay, my first cat. So, since the 10 items that my daughter bought included, I think, 3 whales. And then Lyra was like, Mommy, can you buy 1 extra so I can have a whale? Here. I'm Grammy. I can do that. So she had a whale too. So 4 whales were out the door before I even left. So, on the way down, I finished whale number 1 at 11:17. We left about 10:45 or so. We were shooting for 10:30. We were running a little bit late. And then 20 minutes later, at 11:37, whale number 2 popped off the hook. Those things work up so quickly. All by Jade. All by Jade baby whale. She shows them made with a thicker yarn. I just make them with my leftover scrappy worsted weight, and they turn out so cute and adorable. Then I took a break from whales for a little bit, and I made an angry coffee. And guess what? That was the only coffee that sold at this weekend's show. So good thing I made it on the way down. But then I went back to whale making again. whale number 3, and then whale number 4. And then the last project that I finished before we got down to the show was another Glam Chick. I can't wait till I get the sunglasses and the high heels. They are going to be so adorable. So I looked through the email just to make sure. My daughter was like, okay, what time are you going to be here? And, telling her what time we're about to get there. And then I opened up the email to make sure that setup was still from 4:30 to 7. It wasn't. This year's setup was from 3:30 to 5 or 3 to 5. Something like that. So the setup started a lot earlier than I thought. So I messaged my daughter and said, okay, we're going to go straight to setup because it goes early this year. Okay, no problem. So there's a picture of the blank slate that I started with. We got everything all set up, and I'll put up one of the pictures of what it looked like once we got everything in. I did put up a short. Was that Friday night? But I put up a short of or was it Saturday morning? I don't remember. This weekend is a blur. But I put up a short of how the whole thing looked. Finally got over to my daughter's house around dinner time. And my granddaughter greets me. My oldest granddaughter, she's 8. Grammy, you need to fix my blanket. She was wearing her blanket around her neck because it had such a big hole in the middle. So that's what she presented me with. I said, well, I didn't bring all that many colors this time. So I pulled out my bag with the various shades of yarn that I brought with me. So, pick what color you want me to fix it with. Not quite sure how I was going to fix a hole that big. And she picked out a pink, sort of a lavender blue, and said, can you put new stripes in the middle where there's the big hole? Yeah, I can do that. So I did. And that's what it looked like once I finished. It was starting to get dark by the time I finished, so it's not the best quality picture, but she was very happy with it. Adding a little bit of more color to the blanket. She likes color, and she likes the texture. So now when she's calming herself to go to sleep and she's rubbing the blanket, there's a different texture there for her to feel. So she's very happy about that. So we had dinner at my daughter's house. Son-in-law grilled some pork chops. And then we headed back to the hotel. Took me a while to get my 4 pages of puzzles done for my puzzle quota. But got that done. And I didn't even crochet. I took yarn in to crochet in the hotel, but I was too wiped out. I'm done. I'm going to bed early. So then the next morning, since we were all set up already, I didn't have to be back at the show until 9:15. But we were up and around sort of early, so I think my husband dropped me off at 8:45. I went in, did a little last minute, okay, let's move this here so the cats are together, we'll move this and this. So I got everything set up, and I'll tell you about the show later. I'll tell you tomorrow, okay? We finished up at 3. Got everything broken down. It's a mess. You see, there's my cart right there with 4 or 5 bags just piled on it. I don't want to deal with this right now. We will deal with this later. I have 2 weeks to my next show. We all piled into my daughter's van. Oh, okay. Usually, of course, the 2 front seats are the parents. The 2 middle seats are baby Ellie and Sophie, who's 5. And then the oldest, Aaliyah, gets the back seat all to herself. Well, since they had 2 more passengers, they moved Sophie's booster seat to the 3rd row. And my daughter sat back there between the 2 girls and was reading to them on the way to the restaurant. And I sat in Sophie's seat. Little Ellie, she's 2. She looks over and she goes, Sophie. And I'm like, well, Sophie's not sitting here today. Grammy is. Sophie. Sorry, you got Grammy. And I was trying to, she hasn't seen me for months, so it takes a while for her to warm up to me. So I'm like reaching across the aisle and pretending to tickle her and she starts swatting my hand. Then she starts smiling at me. And then I said, will you hold my hand? Yes. And I'm reaching across, holding hands with her across the space between the seats. Well, that worked out well. Then when we went to the restaurant, she let me hold her hand and walk her into the restaurant. But it worked out well because on the way home, she dropped her elephant snuggler. And usually when she drops her elephant snuggler, somebody's got to get unbuckled and get it back to her, because we're going to have issues because we have a tired baby, well, she's 2, without her cuddling. Well, rather than unbuckling, I just reached across and said, you can hold my hand. And she did, and she was happy for the rest of the ride. So that was so sweet. Grammy moment. Okay, so Sunday we went to church at my daughter's church, came home, at the restaurant, our youngest met us at the restaurant because she lives in downtown Pittsburgh. The other daughter lives north of Pittsburgh. So we went to this restaurant that was like halfway between both of us. We went to Red Robin. And one advantage of being gluten-free and needing to ask for the iPad with the gluten-free menu is that you could whisper to your server and not have someone find out. Because our youngest just had a birthday on Friday. So I said to my server, she just had a birthday yesterday. Which one? The girl in the pink? No. The one in black between the 2 little girls. Okay. So they came around after we were done eating and they sang to her. They gave her a sundae, which she shared with her 2 nieces. But just the look at her face, like, who told? How'd you do that? Yes. So we had another birthday dinner on Sunday for her. Her sister cooked her birthday dinner. And then on the way back, I finished 4 projects, and I almost finished a 5th, but I ran out of time. The first one that I made was a mini chicken. I also made a few things at Saturday's show, but I don't have the list of what I made at Saturday's show. Just little fillers, small things. Okay, I'm trying to make little chickens I can put in my $5 bin, because the $5 bin was getting a lot of attention. So I made one little chicken. Then I made another little chicken. And then I made a gold octopus. And that finished off the gold yarn. I feel very proud of myself for planning out my yarn for this time, because I used every color that I took with me, and I finished off 1 cake of scrap yarn. Yes. And then, like an hour before we got home, I finished up my favorite project of the entire trip, the baby Mallard. I have never made this pattern before. It's been in my quick and easy notebook, and I just never got around to making it. Mallards usually sell pretty well for me, and it turns out so cute and little. I want to make more of them. But I started on something else, and I made a mistake with the safety eye, and then I had to wait till I get home because I'm going to have to cut the back off the safety eye and reposition it. I didn't check to make sure that it was properly placed before I put the back on it. Okay. So we got home around 6:30. I had some toast for a snack. And now I'm trying to catch up on everything. I have a zillion YouTube videos to watch. I have this one to edit. I have to update several files because I did a show. I had to go to the bank. I had to go grocery shopping. I had to do laundry. But right now, I'm going to go out to my chair and edit this video, and I have to do my puzzle quota. And then I'm going to play with yarn and finish up the last project that I started in the car. So that was just a whirlwind of the weekend. And tomorrow I will do a breakdown of what sold, what didn't sell. There is a shocker. Something I was sure was gonna sell, didn't. Have you ever read Scuffy, the Red Painted Tugboat? That was one of my daughter's favorite books growing up. All three of them, we read that book to them. And Scuffy, the Red Painted Tugboat keeps saying, a bathtub is no place for a red painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things. And I would always have it up. A bathtub is no place for a red painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things. Well, then once the girls started to learn to read, I remember one of them saying, that's not what he says. You always say, and he doesn't say that. Okay, enough silliness. I need to go get some stuff done. It was really nice talking to you guys. I missed you. And I'll see you again tomorrow with a full breakdown of the show, okay? So, bye-bye. Thanks for watching.